quand ils sont assis. My dear friends of Paris, it's wonderful to be here. Supposed to be my final performance. I hope it is not true.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all.
Il est vraiment étonnant que ce soit dans cette vieille ville de Paris, comme il dit, que Ravi Shankar ait commencé sa carrière d'artiste, enfant, non pas comme musicien mais comme danseur. C'est son frère Uday Shankar qui fut le premier à exporter la musique de l'Inde en Amérique et en Europe. Le succès fut immense, avec Paris comme plaque tournante. En 1935, le meilleur musicien indien, Ustad Alauddin Khan, rejoint la troupe pour donner une série de concerts solo. Il s'attache au jeune Ravi et commence à lui enseigner le sitar. La guerre arrive et au moment de le quitter, il lui dit « Tu peux devenir un immense musicien, mais tu fais trop de choses. » 2 années plus tard, Ravi abandonne sa vie luxueuse et incroyable, l'Amérique et Paris, pour rejoindre son gourou en Inde. 8 années d'apprentissage et à l'âge de 19 ans, Ravi Shankar est célèbre en Inde. La légende est en marche et c'est 70 ans plus tard, le 1er septembre 2008, qu'en compagnie de sa fille Anushka, il va donner salle Playel son ultime concert européen et le lendemain, une extraordinaire leçon de musique.
Namaskar, mes amis. Welcome to this evening's. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is a very new role. I have had a lot of lecture demonstrations for small musicians and students, but never in salle Playel.
On a eu tous la sensation, en fait, après cette leçon de Ravi Shankar à la salle Playel, d'avoir partagé un moment un peu privilégié. Et ce qui était exceptionnel, c'était qu'on se retrouvait dans une salle immense avec des milliers de personnes. On avait l'impression, en fait, de partager une classe intime, comme ça se passe dans le cadre de la tradition indienne, où on a toujours cette sensation un peu familiale de communion et de partage de la musique dans un esprit un petit peu de salle ou de salon.
Indian music, it is very confusing for people who do not know the details, because we have two different systems of music in India, the Hindustani of north and the Carnatic in the south. The main thing which our music depends on are two things, the ragas and the talas. Ragas are the melody forms, which there are thousands of them. But in South they have got very systematic 72 scales. They call it the melas. In North India, we didn't have that system, so some great musicologists worked and made only 10 scales for the North Indian Hindustani style.
La notion de raga est quelque chose d'extrêmement difficile à décrire en quelques mots. On peut l'aborder sur deux façons, sur une vision très poétique et ésotérique ou spirituelle, ou sur une vision très technique. La vision poétique serait de considérer que le raga est une sorte d'être mélodique qu'on va devoir faire reconnaître et partager au public. Le raga est une sorte d'ensemble de règles du jeu qui vont nous permettre donc soit d'improviser, soit de composer. La première des règles du jeu, c'est en fait un choix de notes. Donc c'est une gamme. La seconde, ça va être des notes importantes, des notes privilégiées. La troisième, ça sera une sorte de hiérarchie des notes. Donc chacune a son rôle, un peu comme dans une famille. Ensuite, on aura des petits mouvements mélodiques obligés, donc des petits bouts de mélodie qu'on va incruster dans son improvisation et sa composition. Et puis ensuite, de nouveau, on bascule dans des choses très poétiques. Par exemple, les prahars, qui sont les heures de la journée à laquelle on doit jouer le rag, et les rasas, qui sont les sentiments, les émotions qui sont liées à ce rag.
Artists can have a lot of dreams. I always had dreams. I started to build something in Benares before this. But at that time I was alone in the sense I couldn't keep it, But it is Sukanya who has been with me, and it's all her conception. She took all ideas from me, what I want, and, built this from nothing to this wonderful place.
It's quite a legacy, really, this place. It kind of symbolizes everything that my father has stood for his entire career. I mean, it's a place that really has a cultural weight in the city of Delhi. It's a place to archive my father's works and compositions, to promote Indian classical music and dance and culture, but also to create a dialogue. For example, they have jazz workshops here to help educate people here about jazz music. So it's a two-way cultural space with a huge focus on my father's legacy.
And the other important thing, of course, is the common thing, tala, the rhythmic cycles. Now, there are hundreds of different talas, ranging from 3-beat cycle to 108-beat cycles. And then, of course, there are a lot of things which happen later, like 7.5, 10.5, 11.5, 13.5. It goes on and on. And those are very complicated ones, and it needs a very learned listener as well to appreciate all that.
En fait, une multitude de cycles rythmiques existent et sont pratiqués, et cette vision cyclique de la musique est très importante. C'est un peu comme en jazz. En jazz, on travaille sur un cycle d'accords qui revient en boucle et qui permet de construire le discours ou de construire un thème. Là, ça ne sera pas une suite d'accords, ça sera uniquement la percussion qui va nous permettre de nous repérer dans le temps.
No. This is a tala of 16 beats called teen tala. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1.
Le cycle rythmique choisi pour présenter cette notion de tala est le cycle tintal. La battue particulière, la musique indienne, va être frappée donc sur le premier temps, sur le 5e, la main va se retourner sur le 9e temps, et encore une battue sur le 13e.
Now, Rupak Tal, for instance, 7, it is divided 3, 2, 2. Tin tin na, din taka tin na. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Tout le jeu improvisé va se construire sur le fait qu'on ne doit jamais perdre de vue à quel endroit on se trouve dans le cycle et qu'on doit atterrir ensemble, soit sur le premier temps du cycle, soit avant la composition mélodique qui, elle, peut partir à un endroit particulier de ce cycle.
my very first lesson would have been in India. But I learned with him in London, I learned in California, I learned in thousands of hotel rooms over the years, you know. I've just learned from my father wherever we've been. In general, and especially with me as a child, he really had a way of making very abstract things make sense to me, because this system of music is very deep, you know. There's a lot of things you can't put in writing, you can't put in words what a raga is. And he always likened ragas to people, to me, and he would always say, you know, there can be many people that you meet in the world that look alike, for example. Someone reminds you of someone else, their eyes are the same, their nose is the same, but they're two different people. And at first, maybe you only see the similarities, but once you get to know them, you see that person for who they are, and that's how it is between two different ragas that have the same notes, the same scale, the same... But the approach is different, the character is different, and it would make sense to me. And similarly, even within a raga, he would always liken things to something. Like, he would give me a story about a man on a mountaintop, lost and meditating, yearning to search for... in order to bring out that feeling. Or he would sometimes liken... something to a man trying to choose between two lovers, you know, and constantly going from one note to the other and trying to choose and not being able to choose. And it just in a way that it would just... You would get the emotional content as well, which was very important.
L'enseignement se passe sous forme de cours où on copie pas à pas les improvisations du maître. Cette façon permet de s'imprégner d'une image qui est toujours en mouvement, puisqu'elle est improvisée, et elle permet de s'imprégner de la musicalité du maître, mais également de sa logique musicale, de ses idées, de ses structures. Elle a fait tout ce parcours d'apprentissage, donc elle a intégré le vocabulaire du maître, elle est très proche de lui au jour le jour, et progressivement, elle va construire son propre parcours, son propre vocabulaire.
Because she's not only my child, she has all my DNA, but she's blessed with tremendous talent, tremendous intelligence. And because of all this together, God has been kind, and I have been able to guide her from the age of 8.5. And it was difficult because father and daughter relationship is different. I was always used to students whom I could say, no, do this, or I know, show my temper. With her I couldn't. She was my little baby.
My father was one of Guruji's earliest disciples. He started learning from him in the year 1948. The tradition was to learn from him. My first lesson from him directly was when I was 8 years old. I went to Delhi, I went to Bombay, Benares, Calcutta, different places whenever he had more than a week's time. And then in 1984, he asked me to shift to Delhi because he wanted to set up a school, because this is the traditional way of learning Indian music, where the disciple or the shishya lives with the master, the guru. So music was being taught like that, but at the same time, from a guru, you don't learn only the music, but you learn about life. Just by seeing him, just by living with him, just by talking to him, he would also guide me through different things to become a full, complete musician.
Many people would tell you a guru is like God. I mean, knowledge is considered practically divine in Indian culture, always. I mean, knowledge is personified in the goddess Saraswati, who's the goddess of arts, culture, learning. And it's paramount. And the fact that a guru is your route to knowledge, your teacher, most people would say they worship their guru.
What is in your mind when you play? Well, main thing is that you fix in your mind what you want to play, which raga, you choose that. And after you choose that, maybe you also choose the tala, the rhythmic cycle that you are going to perform or you want to perform. And then that goes on in your subconscious mind automatically. And when you start playing, I think I do at least, I shut everything else from my mind, the sound of tanpura, the drone, and then everything becomes very, very blank in a way. It is not that you have to be a religious person or think of God and one thing, but it is something which can't be described. It is so spiritual. Each note starts vibrating in your mind, and the natural thing is that if you feel it in your eyes, the tears are coming. If you can feel that, if you can really touch those notes with this emotion, it is bound to have effect on the listener.
This was specifically designed for the master Pandit Ravi Shankar. 2 years back, he fell really ill, and then his left shoulder was, really, he can't move to a certain limits on the frets. So I've designed this sitar for him, which is more compact, which doesn't have the pumpkin as usual sitars do, but this is all wooden. It's hollowed out. Usually it's one piece, but we cut here so that the wood doesn't get cracked when the string pressure comes. So we put a joint here. So that makes much convenient for him. So he keeps it here, and he plays it all well, because the distance from this bridge to this bridge is exactly same as the bigger sitar. He in fact kept changing his sitars from time to time.
This model of the sitar is become popular as Ravi Shankar's model, and he has added the bass strings. This is very, very typical of his style of playing the sitar. And then he has added also the concept of being able to hook. He has two hooks here, which in some of the faster movements, he has introduced this. And many new techniques which he has incorporated into the style of sitar playing. And he has made a huge impact in the way of playing the sitar itself.
Do I teach my students? It cannot be exactly in same manner as my guru did. You have to get up at 4:30 or, and practice for 14, 16 hours every day. And it was a process very different. But today's world has changed, and I do feel that even our capacity to learn, I'm talking about those who are talented and really talented people. They have capacity of learning much faster with the advancement of technology, starting from gramophone records to radio to television and everything, and listening more whenever you want. You can just put it while you are traveling also, you can listen to some great master. In the West, in a way, you are much more organized in the sense that whole music is written down. With us, we don't have that advantage. Ours is only hearing and memorizing. It's very rare that nowadays, of course, it is much more common to see students writing down. I think things are much better today than ever before.
Je pense que c'est la première fois qu'on entend un maître de cette qualité évoquer le fait que même si le travail acharné est indispensable pendant la période d'études, l'évolution des technologies a favorisé une autre forme d'apprentissage et permet un apprentissage qu'il estime plus rapide. C'est vraiment un étonnement, je pense, pour les gens qui sont venus écouter Ravi Shankar.
I do feel when you gain something very fast, you lose something also. Because, with this whole slow process, there was something good in the past. Because it took long time to absorb the whole music system along with the philosophy, with the attachment of religion, but it went deep in your mind, and by the time you were matured, a person was really very solid in his spiritual aspect, which I find is very difficult now. All our art form is very much connected traditionally with the religion. And it is originally conceived as worshipping through music. And then gradually it became performing art. But the religion effect in our music has remained. And when we perform, we always start with something very devotional, and gradually it is more of, entertainment. So it is shringar, happy, lot of speed, virtuosity. So the music becomes balanced as a performance. But because of the original feeling of devotion and religion, we still maintain that.
This music gets passed on to you in that way where you imbibe it, and then it's just very natural to then want to pass it forward. I mean, it dies if you don't do that, in a way. I see music as my root and as my inspiration, but I'm not the same as my father. He's one of those people that can really just draw from music, and if he doesn't play for one day, he goes insane. Like, that's what keeps him going. And for me, I feel like life does that for me. I need to go out, I need to explore, I need to learn, and then I have more to bring back to my music. I have more I say once I've experienced more. So I'm a very curious person by nature.
Finally, please welcome on stage the Ravi Shankar Project.
There's a lot to be said for trying to find ways for tradition to be relevant in today's time as a living culture, but still that's tradition. And I think that's something our Indian music has always done. It's always evolved. And this is another way of just trying to have that happen in my own words, in my own way. And so sometimes it's interacting with other musical styles, whether that's Western elements like jazz, flamenco, or other things. And sometimes it's just the presentation of the music itself, where it's purely classical, but dressed in a very different way. Jesse, the drummer, I've actually known since I was 12 years old. He was always very passionate about drumming, and we always knew he was going to be a percussionist. But I never would have known we'd end up playing together later. But he ended up learning a little bit of Indian music from my father. And Barry, again, is someone who studied Indian classical music on the cello under my father. So I've known him for many years, and so he came on board.
Yeah. Not so quick, it's more flowery. Within that framework, yeah. Vidyapati Pratama Puja Ho. In the 3 beats, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ho. Sani Sansa. Sani Sansa. Yeah. Vidyapati. Right, but now there should be a little space. Sunny, B. From fa, little from. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Right afterwards, okay? Dhagatin, yeah. No, dhagatin. Press, yeah. Dhagatin, 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 dhagatin. Very good, you have picked it up very nice. When we say tradition, there are a lot of things attached to it. We cannot have exactly what it was, but we can have the spirit of the tradition, spirit of the music or dance, whatever, and that should be kept, and that is being kept. And I think there's no fear. Sometimes I lose hope a little seeing the onslaught of modernism and people who have no idea of the link, their connection, their past, their father, mother, grandfather. That hurts me sometimes. But at the same time, I've become very much more hopeful because the truth, real truth can never die really. I believe that. It's bound to stay. Whether in art form or good things about religion, not this name of religion, what is happening today everywhere. No. But the basic beauty, they all say the same thing, nothing different. And same way in the art also. Who can be a good student, really? I mean, is talent enough, you think? I don't think so. Because you can have all the talent, but if you don't have what is known as lagan, lagan means passion, love for it, want to really, I mean, not just becoming famous or that sort of thing, but loving the music and wanting to achieve. That is very important. Now, yeah. ma pa da ma pa. Ma da ni sa sa. Ni sa ni da ni sa ni. Ma da ni sa ni da ni pa. Ma pa ma re ga ga ga.
Cette leçon extraordinaire se termine de façon vraiment très touchante, puisque Ravi Shankar choisit de faire une espèce de travail de groupe où il envoie des propositions musicales à ses musiciens sur lesquelles ils doivent rebondir de façon instantanée et intuitive. Pour ce faire, au lieu de prendre son instrument, le sitar, il choisit de chanter avec le don des notes indiennes. Et c'est un très bel exemple pour montrer que le savoir en Inde est extraordinairement respecté. Quand un maître commence à être âgé, il va moins jouer, mais ça ne veut pas dire pour autant qu'il aura moins de choses à transmettre, tout au contraire.
Exactly like this I have never done in my life, first time. And believe me, we didn't have any rehearsal or anything. It was by request, it was that I had to do this, and I was very nervous how to do it. Thank you very much.